Is your practice tired of wrestling with insurance denials, deciphering EOBs, and watching your revenue slip through the cracks? You are not alone. Welcome to The Claim Game, the podcast designed to cut through the confusion and provide you with the best practices for revenue cycle management success. We are Jeremy and Catherine Zug, and we've been with people just like you in the trenches. Each week, we'll break down complex billing processes, share real-world solutions from practices like yours, and ask questions of the game makers and changers of healthcare so you can take control of your revenue. Let's turn those claim denials into deposits and help you return to focusing on patient care. It's time to win the claim game.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Claim Game. I'm your host, Jeremy Zug, and as a reminder, this season of The Claim Game, we're going through the revenue cycle management best practices, one billing domain at a time. And the last time we were here, we heard from Dr. Jeremy at Humata. And today we're going to be looking at aging follow-up, which is part of our current board around claim follow-up and figuring out how it is that we make sense of claim aging. So a quick reminder, if you missed the initial setup and want to understand the full scope of how the billing domains work together and what they are, go back to episode 1 for the complete overview. Today, we're going to be looking at claim follow-up, and we'll dive in. So we often tell practices and agencies that we work with that aging follow-up is a lot like tending a garden. You've done a lot of hard work. You've tilled the soil, you've planted the seeds, you've watered it. But if you don't go back to pull the weeds, water the soil, you're going to lose your harvest. And many clinicians, providers, and even many billers hate this part of the revenue cycle management process. And why is that? Because oftentimes claim follow-up feels like hitting a brick wall. It feels like shouting into the void and not getting any response back. So today I'm going to show you how to navigate claim follow-up in a way that feels like you have control and traction over your aging claims and help you understand the map that aging follow-up really is and looking at your aging report. So first we have to deal with the aging report. And we've talked about this a little bit in prior episodes, partly because all of these terms and processes touch each other. But the aging report is a live look at every dollar currently owed to your practice. And this is organized by how long those claims have been outstanding. And in our world, we generally look at quote unquote buckets. And I want you to think of each of these buckets as a level of urgency. So most aging reports are split into 4, maybe 5 aging buckets, and the time frames for each one is 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, 90 to 120, and 120 plus. But normally we just stop at 90 plus. So think about the first bucket, 0 to 30 days, as the fresh bucket, if you will. These claims are in flight. They've been submitted. The payer is still processing them probably. We aren't really worried. We're just monitoring this particular bucket. Sometimes claims have issues in this bucket, but if you've done all the work on the domains that we've talked about up to this point, this particular aging bucket shouldn't be a huge cause for concern. But then we get to 31 to 60 days, and this is a warning bucket, right? If a claim is here, it's starting to get overdue, right? The check is in the mail excuse is starting to really wear thin, and this is a little bit of a Goldilocks zone for follow-up. It's not too early to be annoying, but it's not too late to be considered ignored. A little asterisk here on this particular bucket. If you have a secondary claim, secondary insurance for a client, 0 to 30 is usually where the primary process isn't paid. Within that time period, you're going to process your secondary claim with EOB, ERA information and send the secondary. So secondary claims are okay to hang out in here. This is their 0 to 30 day bucket. But for primary claims, we're getting a little concerned. Then you have 61 to 90 days. This is a critical bucket, right? We're reacting to these claims being in danger of being written off. So we're reaching a danger zone here. Claims here are starting to stagnate And the longer they sit in the 61 to 90 bucket, they are getting really hard to collect on. And then anything over 90 days, 90 to 120 or 120 days plus, is usually where money goes to die. There are some circumstances where you can resurrect some of those claims, but we have some major red flags by the time a claim is sitting there. A major mistake that we see a lot is waiting until a claim hits that 90-day mark to check in on them. And by then you're bumping against all kinds of issues, right? These are claims that are going to take a pretty heavy lift to resolve, right? Let's say coordination of benefit issues, maybe timely filing limits, appeal timely filing limits, right? And those are deadlines payers set for you to resolve issues. If we miss some of these issues, the insurance company gets to keep the money and you have to write off the claim. And we don't want you to do that because you did all of the clinical work, and we don't want you to write off claims simply we were late to resolving these claims. So if you want to keep your cash flow and keep it sticky, your goal is to reduce the days in accounts receivables, right? Which is the average time a claim stays unpaid, right? You calculate days in AR is you take your total accounts receivables over your average daily revenue, and then you get days in AR, right? And if you map your aging report, and for some of you, you're using electronic health records that don't give you a very good aging report and you kind of have to build it. If that's you, I highly recommend switching EHRs. I know that's also a heavy lift, but for the sake of the financial health of your practice, I would strongly recommend getting an EHR that provides you a report at the click of a button. But if you're looking at this report and your map shows a massive spike in the 90-day bucket, your aging report is telling you that there's a leak in your system, right? And you don't want claims sitting in that bucket indefinitely. You want them moved to paid or denied so you can take the next action, right? And that's all an aging report is really going to tell you. It's a health report, and it tells you that something in your system is causing some major issues and we need to do some investigative work. The best practices, or the most successful practices rather, that we see and work with are the ones that have a high degree of discipline around managing their aging claims and are fast to resolve issues. The practices we work with that come in with high aging, there's usually a significant amount of pain that goes into fixing those issues and a lot of write-offs, and to get on track is quite painful. So we don't want that for you. We want you to stay as clean and efficient as possible. This episode is brought to you by Jane, a practice management software and EMR built to support you in the day-to-day work of running your practice. If you're a health or wellness practitioner, you already know the care you provide starts well before your client arrives and extends far beyond the treatment room. Jane is there to support you in every part of that experience. With online booking, your clients can book at a time that works for them. And with features like notifications, they'll even be able to grab last-minute openings when they pop up. It's an easy way to keep your schedule full while getting your clients the care they need. During your appointment, Jane's AI-powered documentation feature can help you thoughtfully take notes so you can stay present with the person in front of you. And after appointments, you can end your time together on a healing note, not a transactional one, by charging the card on file. To learn more about how Jane can support you and your clients, head to jane.app/demo. And one last thing, if you're ready to get started with Jane, you can use my code in the show notes for a 1-month grace period on your new account. All right, so the next part of this is the battle plan, right? We want efficiency over frustration. We hear this all the time. I spent 4 hours on the phone with payer X today and got absolutely nowhere. And that's the fastest way to burn out, right? I mean, you're going to resent your practice. And this is really how you lose the claim game. And to win, you need a systematic approach. You need a plan to be able to navigate your aging report in a way that, you know, 1, you're getting traction. 2, you're putting yourself in the best place to get paid for work you've already done. And 3, you want to be able to scale what you're doing. Or you either want to scale up or scale down or right size your practice. And you can't do that unless the billing department is flexible, is adaptable with you. So here's your plan for getting aging claims back on track. First thing you need to do is block your time. Don't do follow-ups in 5-minute increments between other tasks that you're doing or during your lunch break. You can't really get into the flow of what you need to do to follow up on insurance claims in staccatoed segments, right? If you're constantly being interrupted. If you're the one doing billing, you need to block out dedicated time, probably 2 or more hours at a time on a regular cycle, and you need to treat it like an appointment you would not cancel, right? You wouldn't cancel on a client, so don't cancel on your AR. If you're outsourcing to a biller, you want to make sure that they have all the time that they need to unfold your aging, take a look at what needs to be done, and actually do it. One of the values of outsourcing to a biller is that they have the time, energy, and lack of distraction to be able to focus on your aging claims in a way that gets you paid. So block your time. Second, you want to organize your aging by payer. Instead of chasing the oldest claim first, sort your insurance aging report by insurance provider. If you have 10 unpaid claims from one payer, you make one call, right? Or you log into one portal, handle all of those claims at once. That's called batching. And batching is really a secret to scaling your practice without losing your mind. One login, 10 resolutions, crank them out. And usually what we do is we sort by the largest aging and the oldest, right? Because we want to get resolution on the claims that are most at risk of falling off of your aging report due to write-offs as we can. We have a tool for this that we use in-house at Practice Solutions every single day. It's called the Claim Management Spreadsheet. This is really your tool for staying organized and making sure you can pick up right where you left off. If you go to the Hourglass Learning Hub, the link is in the show notes, you can find the claim management spreadsheet. And I cannot stress enough how much this changes the game. When you do have to call, you need a paper trail, you need a save point. So if you have to follow up again, you're not starting from zero. And this spreadsheet allows you to track claim ID, date of service, the payer representative's name, call reference numbers, etc. So my pro tip, especially when using the claim management spreadsheet, is you never ever end a phone call with an insurance company without a reference number. That's your receipt. If they tell you the claim will be processed in 30 days and it isn't, you call them back with that number. It forces accountability and it tells the representative, I'm tracking this, and we have the receipts. Otherwise, that claim management spreadsheet is also scalable with you. So if you add more clinicians, if you add more payers, if you add more patients, as your practice gets more complex, you need to be able to, at a glance, see where are my claims in process and what needs to happen in order to manage them. And finally, we want to look at rejections and denials. As part of this is where terminology gets pretty confusing. So in a previous episode, I think that was episode 35 on denial resolution, we talked about this, it needs to be reiterated because we hear this time and time again, but rejected claims and denied claims are different. Rejected claims never got to the payer. Denied claims got to the insurance company, were processed, and then were denied. So I want to talk about a case study with you, a real life situation that we dealt with ourselves. We had a practice we were working with that about $1,000 sitting in their 60-day bucket, and they were convinced the insurance company was being difficult on purpose and just trying to nickel and dime them. But we opened up their claim management spreadsheet that we'd been using. We saw a pattern. Every single denial that they had the same remark code. It turns out that they were billing telehealth but forgot a modifier, and because they were tracking that in the spreadsheet, we didn't have to call on the claims. We just resubmitted corrected claims, and it cleared out that $8,000 in aging in about 14 days. And I know it looks like magic to a lot of clinicians and a lot of providers, but what that really is it's logic and knowing how to play the claim game in a way that generates revenue for you, or generates revenue in your bank account that you rightfully should be owed, that you are owed because you already did the work, right? So we've covered a lot here in the claim follow-up space. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I want you to focus on 3 key takeaways to help you manage and master your aging. 1, I want you to be consistent. Work on your aging report weekly, right? Small weeds are easy to pull. A 90-day forest is a lot harder to clear. And the more this process gets ignored, the bigger the issues get. So we have to deal with them as quickly as we can. 2, you want to batch your work, organized by payer, organized by size, organized by age. Maximize your efficiency and minimize your time on hold by resolving multiple issues in one go. And the other thing that does is if you have to call an insurance company and they allow you to work through multiple claims on one call, work on multiple claims on one call. You're not being an inconvenience to the person on the other end of the phone. That's why they're there. So make sure you're really working through those. Finally, know your terms. Understand the difference between a rejection and a denial. And even more than that, understand what different denial reasons mean. So aging follow-up is not about being an aggressive debt collector. We don't want this to be a resentment of yours toward your practice, your patients, or the insurance company. We want this to be about being a diligent gardener of your practice's financial health. And when you master this, you ensure that your practice has the resources it needs to keep helping people. So we discussed a few tools today, specifically the claim management spreadsheet, which is available through our online learning hub, the Hourglass. If you think that'd be helpful for you in your practice, check out the link in the show notes. The next episode on the claim game is going to be about discussing appeals and how to fight back when the initial corrected claim isn't enough, and you won't want to miss it. I'm Jeremy Zug. Thanks for playing the claim game. We'll see you next time here on the show. If you enjoyed today's episode of the claim game, please take a moment to leave us a rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. It really helps new listeners to find us. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to the claim game on your favorite podcast app. Your feedback means so much to us. We want to provide valuable education about revenue cycle management. So if there's something we didn't cover in our topic that was a burning question for you, please let us know so we can try to get you the information you desire. You can find the links to all resources we mentioned in this episode in the show notes. And if you want to dive deeper into our resources, we have two places you can do that. First, you can go to our blog at practicesol.com/blog, where we have 8 years of educational blogs. If you want to learn more about what Practice Solutions does, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Just go to practicesol.com to learn more and to connect with one of our awesome people on our team. Thanks for listening. We are Jeremy and Catherine Zug, and this is The Claim Game. See you at the game table next time.